Good evening. Tonight we dive into a story where business and politics collide on a global stage. In the world of international commerce and political power, few names carry as much weight as Amazon and Donald Trump. Both have shaped the modern era in profound ways, influencing not just the United States, but economies and societies around the globe. Amazon has completely transformed how we shop, work, and even think about convenience, while Trump has left a lasting mark on American politics, policy, and the nation's approach to global trade. Their public clashes have been frequent and intense, often making headlines as they spar over business practices, economic policy, and the future of American industry. Tonight, we'll explore a provocative hypothetical. What if Amazon decided to move its headquarters out of the United States? And how might Donald Trump, known for his bold responses, react, especially when it comes to tariffs and trade policy? While Amazon hasn't made such an announcement, this scenario gives us a unique lens to examine Trump's long-standing feud with the company, and his willingness to use tariffs as a tool for political leverage. Trump has repeatedly criticized Amazon's impact on small businesses, its tax strategies, and its relationship with the U.S. Postal Service, fueling ongoing debates about fairness, competition, and the future of retail in America. Tariffs, essentially taxes on imported goods, became a signature feature of Trump's presidency. He used them to protect American industries, pressure foreign competitors, and send strong messages to both allies and rivals. Imagining a flashpoint like an Amazon headquarters move helps us understand how such policies could ripple through a global giant's operations, affect its workers, and even change the daily lives of millions of consumers. In this episode, we'll unpack Trump's grievances, break down how tariffs work, and explore their real-world effects on companies like Amazon, as well as on the broader economy. This is a story about power, policy, and the ongoing tension between political leaders and corporate titans, a tale that continues to shape our world in unexpected ways. Donald Trump's criticism of Amazon was a constant theme throughout his political career. He accused Amazon of crushing small businesses and destroying retail jobs, arguing that its dominance hurt Main Street America. Trump claimed that for every job Amazon created, many more were lost in local shops unable to compete with its low prices and vast selection. He often labeled Amazon a monopoly, citing its control over online retail, cloud computing, and logistics. These concerns resonated with those anxious about economic change and the decline of traditional industries. Trump's rhetoric was pointed and personal, framing Amazon as a corporate villain rather than an innovative success. His attacks laid the groundwork for policy threats like tariffs, positioning himself as a defender of American business. This persistent animosity set the stage for potential escalations in any future conflict. Understanding these grievances is key to seeing why a clash could quickly become a major political event. Trump's feud with Amazon was deeply personal, rooted in more than just policy disagreements or business competition. It was a clash of personalities, egos, and public images that played out on the national stage. The animosity often centered on Jeff Bezos himself, with Trump repeatedly singling out the Amazon founder in tweets and public statements, making Bezos a symbol of the tech elite he railed against. Much of Trump's frustration stemmed from Bezos's ownership of the Washington Post, which he accused of unfair and relentless coverage that, in his view, crossed the line from journalism into personal attack. Trump blurred the lines between the newspaper and Amazon, suggesting Bezos used the Post as a weapon to attack him, and to protect Amazon's business interests from government scrutiny. He frequently called it the Amazon Washington Post, implying the paper's reporting was not just biased, but part of a calculated corporate strategy to undermine his presidency. Trump claimed, without evidence, that negative coverage was meant to shield Amazon from regulatory scrutiny, and that the Post's stories were designed to sway public opinion against him. This personal dimension intensified the conflict, turning what could have been routine policy debates into high-stakes battles of personality, power, and influence. Trump's direct attacks on Bezos and the Post exemplified a broader trend of political leaders challenging critical media, but his focus on Amazon made the feud uniquely charged. By linking Amazon's business practices to media criticism, Trump cast both the company and the newspaper as adversaries, fueling public suspicion and controversy. This narrative transformed what might have been a standard business rivalry into a deeply personal and political grudge, with each side digging in further. The result, any move by Amazon, no matter how routine, could provoke a forceful, personalized response from Trump, escalating tensions even further. The feud's intensity and personal nature make future confrontations between Trump, Bezos, and Amazon all the more likely, and all the more dramatic for the public to watch unfold. Trump's critique of Amazon often focused on taxes, claiming the company didn't pay its fair share. He repeatedly accused Amazon of taking advantage of the system, insisting that the retail giant was not contributing enough to the country's tax base. He argued Amazon exploited loopholes, avoiding state and federal taxes while smaller businesses bore the burden. For many small business owners, this felt like an uneven playing field, as they struggled to keep up with their own tax obligations. For years, Amazon didn't collect state sales tax in places without a physical presence, giving it a price edge over local retailers. This practice allowed Amazon to undercut prices, making it even harder for brick-and-mortar stores to compete. Even after a Supreme Court ruling changed this, Trump continued to highlight Amazon's tax strategies as unfair. He used every opportunity to remind the public that, in his view, Amazon was still not paying enough. He also pointed to Amazon's low federal income tax bills, achieved through legal credits and deductions. These complex accounting maneuvers, while legal, fueled the perception that big corporations could avoid taxes in ways ordinary Americans could not. Trump used Amazon as a symbol of a broken tax system, calling for reform while lowering corporate rates during his presidency. He argued that the system needed to be fixed so that all companies, big or small, paid their fair share. The tax issue allowed Trump to frame Amazon as a corporate freeloader, tapping into public frustration over economic inequality. Many Americans already feeling left behind saw Amazon as an example of how the wealthy and powerful could bend the rules. This narrative rallied support for punitive measures and justified threats like tariffs. It also helped Trump position himself as a champion for the average worker and small business owner. For large corporations, tax practices remain a political vulnerability. The debate over what is fair continues to shape public opinion and policy discussions. Trump's focus on fairness made Amazon an easy target for populist criticism, and the controversy over corporate taxes remains a powerful force in American politics. Trump repeatedly targeted Amazon's relationship with the USPS, claiming the company got sweetheart deals that cost taxpayers billions. He argued Amazon's shipping rates with the USPS amounted to a subsidy, demanding higher prices to save the Postal Service. Trump's narrative was simple. Amazon was exploiting a beloved public institution. In reality, package delivery is one of the USPS's few profitable areas, helping cover its fixed costs. The real financial strain comes from declining first-class mail and mandated retiree benefits. Still, Trump's messaging resonated, positioning him as a defender of the USPS against corporate greed. By threatening to raise shipping rates, he directly targeted Amazon's promise of fast, affordable delivery. This showed Trump's willingness to use government power to pressure companies he opposed. To understand Trump's tactics, we need to grasp tariffs. A tariff is a tax on imported goods, making them more expensive for consumers. The goal: protect domestic industries by making foreign products less competitive. Tariffs can also generate government revenue or serve as leverage in trade negotiations. They're a blunt tool. While they may help some industries, they can hurt others by raising costs. For example, tariffs on steel can make American cars more expensive to produce. Trade partners often retaliate, leading to trade wars and higher prices for everyone. Tariffs are both a shield and a weapon in economic policy. Their impact ripples through supply chains, affecting businesses and consumers alike. Tariffs were central to Trump's trade policy, especially in his trade war with China. Starting in 2018, he imposed tariffs on hundreds of billions in Chinese goods, aiming to counter unfair trade practices and reduce the trade deficit. The administration accused China of intellectual property theft and economic imbalance. Tariffs made Chinese goods pricier, hoping to boost American manufacturing. China retaliated, targeting key U.S. exports and escalating the conflict. The result: disrupted supply chains, higher costs, and uncertainty for businesses and farmers. Trump's aggressive use of tariffs showed his willingness to endure economic pain for strategic goals. This precedent suggests he'd use tariffs again if he saw a company like Amazon as a threat. Tariffs remain a powerful, disruptive tool in Trump's policy arsenal. Amazon's global reach makes it highly vulnerable to tariffs, regardless of headquarters location. Many products sold on Amazon are imported, especially from Asia. New tariffs would raise costs for millions of third-party sellers, forcing them to choose between shrinking profits or raising prices. Higher prices could drive customers away, weakening Amazon's core promise of low prices and vast selection. If small sellers fail, Amazon's marketplace shrinks, reducing variety and appeal. Amazon's own devices, mostly made abroad, would also become more expensive or less profitable. Tariffs would ripple through Amazon's ecosystem, threatening its business model. For a company built on global supply chains, trade wars are an existential risk. Tariffs could fundamentally reshape Amazon's relationship with customers and sellers. As of June 28, 2025, there's no real Amazon HQ move or new Trump tariff threat, but this scenario highlights ongoing tensions between tech giants and political leaders. Trump's grievances, taxes, media, USPs, remain part of the political landscape, ready to resurface. Tariffs are a reminder of how interconnected our world is. A policy in Washington can raise prices globally. For Amazon, the threat of tariffs is a constant challenge, shaping decisions on sourcing and investment. The dynamic between powerful politicians and corporations will keep influencing our economy and politics. The debate over trade and tariffs is far from over. Understanding these forces helps us see beyond headlines to the real stakes. The interplay of personality, policy, and power defines our modern world. As citizens and consumers, staying informed is more important than ever.